Okay, well, here we are again, back with the Ginge and Foxy NRRRL wrap for the final series of the NRRRL this year. Got a special guest with us tonight in young Karri Williams. She was a proud coach of the Northern United Rugby League women's tackle team that won the grand final over at Casino on the weekend. So we'll get her interjections here later. But before we go any further, tonight, Les.
Yes, mate.
I'm looking forward to tonight. We're going to have a bit of a finals wrap.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about every game at every ground, Saturday, Sunday.
Big weekend.
The NRRRL. We're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of what happened last week, some of the upsets of the round.
Yep.
We're going to have a bit of a chat about Goffy's Goss. We've got some hot goss.
60 minutes.
60 minutes. Here we go. And then we're going to finish off with our whatever section and any shout outs. So normal part of our routine. But before we start, Karri, thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me.
That's okay. Well, hopefully you're going to be, mate, tonight that's open slather.
Yep.
So it's finals time for the NRRRL. Obviously, you've won your grand final on the weekend over at Casino. So congratulations, first up.
Thank you.
So, mate, how is it being a grand final winning coach and a little bit of a history at the same time? You're the first coach. I'm a bit disappointed in this one. You're the first coach, but you're also the first team to win a grand final premiership for the Northern United Rugby League Football Club, mate.
Yeah, I'm still buzzing. I don't think it's actually fully set in, sunk in yet. It's just a good feeling.
So, mate, last Sunday, Casino.
Yeah,
hot as hell.
It was hot as a tough game. I wouldn't have wanted to play any other team other than Lower. They gave us a run for our money, so it was a good game.
You guys were pretty close all year, though, weren't you?
Yeah, we were, yeah.
Yeah, I think you've won one each, didn't you, through the year?
So we've played each other twice before the grand final, and we've won each. One each.
Mate, I had and I think I've been doing this all year, Les. I've been watching that women's tackle team from Lower. I've been rapping them because that's a good team. I'm not saying that I rate you off.
No, they are. They are a good
team. What I
team.
would say is that for you guys to pull you back into your season together, to put that sort of performance on a day that you really required that sort of performance to win, and to beat a team like Lower Clarence, mate, that was, I will say, as I said, I didn't write you off, but I thought this is going to be one tough weekend. But mate, you come out the other end.
Yeah, I was really nervous, but I think more towards the end of the season, the girls gelled together more, and we figured out how we played individually. So I think that helped us out more heaps, and yeah, just
mate, you scored the winning meat pie.
Yeah,
you which is a captain's effort.
Yeah.
That in itself, is that how you envisage the game playing itself out, by you finishing off scoring that try?
Oh, no, definitely not. But it was just one of those moments that had to do something to secure our grand final spot.
2 points in at that point.
Yeah.
So, and I think just before that they had a bit of a runaway try.
Yeah.
Disallowed.
Yeah.
There was hands in the ruck, which I was like, oh God, I don't know if you got this right. But I look back at the footage, you did get it right.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I actually didn't understand why they pulled that call up as myself, and thought that we just got away with a lucky call. But yeah, going back and watching the replay, you do see.
Yeah, the hand in the ruck.
Yeah. So we were actually fortunate that the refs picked that up, because that could have easily, they could have easily got away with that.
Mate,
what was the final score?
24-16.
24-16.
The Lower Clarence team, they had a young girl there, I think she played 9, white headgear. That's just been signed by Gold Coast Titans WNRL.
Yeah.
I watched. She was brilliant. Like, she was really good that day. They did have a lot of injuries. I think it looks like they must have had some injuries going into the game.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I think they had a lot of injuries really early on in that first half. That really impacted on their performance as well. But the number 9, I think the number 11 for Lower were two players that stood out from what I was watching on the bench with you guys. They played a huge factor in, I think, for you guys to be able to shut that quality of players sort of down, but also have the focus on your own performances was pretty damn good.
Yeah. They have a lot of talent on their team lower, but it's the those ones the experienced ones who are already up there and recognise that you've just got to keep that extra eye on and. But at the end of the day, I think it's just a team effort just to shut each individual down.
Mate, you got some young girls in that team.
Yeah.
Who are some of those young girls that could probably potentially go on to that next level?
Oh, Savannah Roberts Hickling, who got
5'8".
our 5'8" number 6, who got player of the match, definitely gone places. Our little fullback, Shaniqua Welsh.
Mate, there's not much of her.
But she's strong.
She's everywhere.
Mate, she was really good. I mean, if I was out there scouting at the moment, they're definitely two players. But I think through your final series, one of your standout players, I think that probably went far and beyond even what she thought, was Claire Roberts Hickling.
Yeah.
She was, and I said this I think a couple of weeks before, if there's an NRLW team out looking for a middle forward, I'd be getting that book out right now and I'd be signing her because I've watched the WNRL. She's already doing stuff at this level.
Yeah.
That could take into that sort of arena.
Yeah, definitely. She's one of our strong forwards. She actually, pushed herself through the season. Had a few injuries. So I was proud that we got to have her in the finals. But she's NRLW material.
Yeah. Well, mate, as I said, first and foremost, thanks for coming on and sharing that little bit of an insight into the women's game. I know a lot of people out there didn't watch too much of it maybe during the season, but if they didn't, I'd be saying go back and watch that grand final game and also the back end of the series, the final series. I think they were both great games. But I think next year the NRRRL have got one hell of a competition on its hand moving forward. I think they'll grow it next year from the 6 teams to 8, maybe possibly 10. I know from a whole competition point of view, and I know me and Les particularly, me and the Big Foxy,
I'm waiting to
we
try
can't wait. I think when I do hang up the boots of coaching at the A grade level, I wouldn't actually mind going back and maybe doing some coaching at that level, but development probably more than anything. But because I think it's a raw game. It's back to what I think rugby league was always about. Took me back 10, 15 maybe years ago because it was played in the same sort of way. So look, it's one hell of an effort to get there. Congratulations on the grand final win. I also want to congratulate Lower Clarence, mate. I think their efforts throughout the whole season as a whole club, but more importantly, that team that played on the weekend. There's some good girls there. Stick at it, girls. Don't walk away from the game. Stay intact, Lower. Keep building on what you've got. I think you're going to be definitely a force to be reckoned with in that competition moving forward.
I think we should give a shout out to all the teams that were in the competition.
Yeah, mate. South Grafton. Mate, massive effort.
Turned up every week.
Down the road to play in this competition.
Kyogle,
mate. I think they created a few upsets in the back end of the season, the Kyogle girls. And so who
Casino,
mate.
Casino.
They actually are a very young team.
Yeah.
They got better and better as the year went on, I think. Casino.
Yeah.
They're Lower were very unlucky. That was, even though the score at 16-0 last fortnight in the semi, that was a tough game. So, again, Casino girls well done. I think building into something special down the track. So
who am I missing? Karri?
Tweed
Coast. Mate,
Tweed were good too.
Yeah.
Really
that was a hard game against them, but I'm glad we come out on the other end because,
I really hope that the women's tackle comp is played on the same day as the men's next year.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, and it could be a shorter version of the men's competition like it was this year, but it's played on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Some clubs are making decisions.
And I'd like to see it on grand final day with the men as well.
Yeah, 100%. It would have been good.
It would have been
awesome.
Yeah.
So there's a plug for the NRRRL.
Yep. That's what the Ginge and the Big Fox want to see.
Yeah, mate. I'll be honest. If that happens, I'm gonna put some time aside to actually go and commentate some of those games because they are good games. So
don't make promises you're not going to keep, all right?
Okay, Foxy. Well, we probably could. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's a good interjection there by the golf meister.
The golf man.
There you go. Old Moonhead over the back. Listen, we're going to get in now, Karri, and we want you to. We'll have you engaged in this part of it. We're going to talk about the NRRRL final series in all grades. You're still playing in one of those grades too, so we'll get your thoughts about that. But we're going to jump straight into it, Foxy. I'm going to give it over to you, brother.
Woohoo! Let's go.
First grade.
Semi-finals. Saturday games at the mighty Evans Head Bombers Field.
Yep.
First grade. Evans Head versus Coogin. Big game. This one.
I'm not calling it.
It's going to be a great game. Evans really played well last week against United.
They sure did.
But I really like Coogin. The way they've been playing the back end of the year, I think they're really a team that nobody wants to play against.
There's a reason I'm not calling it, because I'm going to talk about it in Goffy's Goss.
Yep.
Yeah. But I can't call that game.
I'm just ready for a cracker there. So, first grade.
Saturday too. Saturday the 19th.
Down at Stan Payne Oval, Evans Head.
So Coogin and Evans Head and Coogin in the first grade game.
Yep. Reserve grade. We got Coogin versus Byron.
I'm saying Coogin.
I've been impressed with Byron's reserve grade this year too, but
I'm saying
you're saying Coogin. Coogins been one of the most
premiers.
Dominant reserve grade teams for a while.
They dominated, I think, a Balamble team last week.
Mm-hmm.
I was there and watched part of that game, and I can tell you now they dominated it.
Yeah. All right, we'll see what happens
Coogin.
there. Under 18s, this will be another good game. Northern versus Byron. I like the look of Byron under 18s.
Mate, the Northern boys have to be really on this weekend. That Byron team, and I've been saying this since the start of the season, that Byron team is a special little team. They got some really good kids and good talent in that side. But I'm gonna go with the Northern boys. I know Ashmore and will be putting the work in this week with those kids. I know they trained really well last night. But I really think
tough game,
mate. They took Tweed. They took the Seagulls, Tweed Seagulls 18s. They put them to the sword in the weekend.
13 players.
Yeah, 13 players, and it wasn't until the last 10 minutes that Tweed Seagull scored a try, or maybe 2 tries at the end. But mate, right up until that last 10 minutes, I thought Northern were going to pretty much come over the top. So I'm saying Northern confidently.
Karri, I'll hand this one over to you.
Yeah, so
Ladies
League Tag, Balamble versus Northern. It's going to be a tough match.
How's that been? You've played them once this year already?
We've only played them once. We did lose, but like the 18s boys, we didn't have much of a bench. So we're going to have our full side this weekend, and hopefully they'll do us our favour.
Couple of big outs for you guys this weekend.
Yeah.
Phoenix and Savannah.
Yeah, our young ones who run all over the paddock, but hopefully we can just bring the win home for them.
Yep, and then if you get through this weekend, they'll be available the following week. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. So there's a big game in the Ladies League Tag, Balamble v Northern.
Before we move on to the Sunday's games, Chris, what are you thinking for this first grade game on this weekend at Evans Head?
I just told you.
But are you expecting any big changes? You think Evans Head are going to be good to go? 1 to 13, 1 to 17.
Evans Head, I think, will be very similar to their team will be very similar to what played in the weekend against Northern. Look, I can't tell you what their ins and outs are right now. It'll be interesting to see how they shape up. I still think they're carrying a couple of injuries. I know Aiden.
He was out on the weekend.
Yeah, Aiden didn't play on the weekend.
Aiden
Kennedy we're talking about. Shillo looks like he's still
didn't look
playing
100%,
a bit. Yeah,
did he?
I don't know. But look, he still did good on the weekend. But I don't know. I mean, look, there wouldn't be a team at this stage of the year, Les. It doesn't matter who you are in the top 6, even Ballina. There's blokes carrying niggles. They've been carrying them for the last 5 or 6 weeks. Some teams, you got 2 teams we'll talk about it. At the end of this, having the weekend off. But mate, I just think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be a game that's going to ebb and flow. One team might have the ascendancy, the other team will come back. I just think what it's going to come down to is 2 things. It's going to come down to who can provide the best defensive efforts, and I also think it's going to be who, possession is going to be key. Mm-hmm. So whoever completes sets, get to the kick, big chase with a holding pattern. I just think that's how we're going to know the winner of the game. But I will say it's tight. I'm going to say there's going to be no more than 8 points in it. I'm not willing to call it for 2 reasons, and I'll make one of those 2 reasons when we get to Goffy's Goss.
Okay. Agreed. Beautiful. So that's Saturday's lineups. Let's move into Sunday. So all these semi-finals too this weekend are elimination semi-finals.
Yep.
So whoever loses this weekend are done for the year.
Gone.
So Sunday
Saturday.
at Oaks Oval, Lismore.
Yep.
We
Oaks
have
Oval.
Oaks Oval. We have the Northern United Dirrawongs up against the Lower Clarence Magpies. This is going to be a cracker.
It will be, mate. This is going to be a good game. I think Lower got the wood on us about 4 weeks ago.
Yep.
Jumped out of the blocks really good on Northern. Dominated the first half.
30-0 lead, half-time.
Northern came out in the second half and dominated a 25-minute phase. So, you know, it ended up tighter than what it should have been. I thought Lower were the better team on the day. Mate, I still think this is going to be a very, very tough game. Bit of history in this game.
Yeah.
A lot of history for Northern and Lower. The last time these two teams played in a final series against each other was 2009, and Lower Clarence got away with the win, 21-20.
Grant Brown field goal.
Grant Brown field goal.
He's
Brownie's playing again. I'm coaching again. He's already given me the phone call.
Ginge
Thanks for the phone
Brownie.
call. Brownie, I'm just going to throw it out there. Your phone call on Monday night, you could have waited till Tuesday. You could have waited till Wednesday. But no, you want to make a call on Monday night, and you're going to tell me, remember 2019. That's what his words were. I quickly changed the subject, as I always do with Brownie when we talk about 209. But, mate, look, both these teams, to be totally honest, Les, for both these teams to be playing in an elimination final on Sunday with the potential winner to go through to next Saturday, mate, is a massive effort for both. So both these clubs need to be congratulated for, one, putting themselves in a position to be where they are, and two, both having three teams participate in both Saturday and Sunday's final series.
And a women's grand final.
And a women's grand final. And two
weekend.
teams competing in a women's grand final on the weekend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look, I'm not going to go out in some bold prediction. I'm just going to say that it's going to be a tough game. I think played in the right spirit. It's going to be one hell of a game. And if I was any supporters of rugby league in general, I'd be getting down to Oaks Oval at 2:40 to watch this game from minute 1 to minute 80 because I think it's going to be one hell of a game.
How good is it to see two teams that were battling out in the second division comp last year are now in the final series of the top division comp? So it's really good to see. And
not for the NRRRL, we do not want that second phase competition reintroduced.
No.
We don't want it. We're not saying that. We're just saying that it's good to see these two teams progress from where they were last year to
where they are now.
Top end of the competition this year. So
big out, mate, for Northern this weekend.
Yeah, mate. We've I think it's pretty well known now. We've lost our number 9, Jamal Roberts, for the rest of the season with a torn bicep. I know people from down at Evans probably won't agree with me on this, but I'm going to just say it, mate. From the minute Jamal Roberts got injured, is when things started to not go so well for Northern on the weekend. We lost our main middle defensively and in attack. So we've had to come up with some options in our 9, and we've worked that last night, and we've got. I think we've come up with the right positional change for that to occur and to go into this game this weekend. But he's going to be a big loss for the rest of our season because he's a big part of our season to get to where we are. So, mate, all the best to Jamal in his recovery. I know, mate, he'd given his heart and soul to the club this year, and without him, as I said, mate, we wouldn't be in the position we're in right now. So, big loss.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to our next game in the reserve grade fixture. Murwillumbah up against Lower.
Murwillumbah, mate.
Go Murwillumbah?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting because Lower Clarence reserve grade are going to have about 6 to 8 players backing up from their rugby union game or from their rugby side. Because these blokes down in Lower play both rugby and league on Saturday, rugby on Saturdays, league on Sundays. But there's a lot of reserve graders that play for Lower that do that. So, yeah, I'm saying Murwillumbah.
Okay. I'm agreeing. Karri, Murwillumbah?
Yeah.
Okay, under 18s, Bilambil versus Lower.
I'm saying I'm going to do something really different here. Everyone's probably going to jump on the Bilambil train.
I'm on it.
I'm on it. But I think Lower's going to give them one hell of a go. I watched Lower on the weekend v Casino, and I'll tell you, they were pretty good. And Casino's a good under-18s team as well.
Casino needed to win to make the semi, so they
and
were there to
played in
play
that
on the
fashion,
weekend.
mate, trust me. So, Bilamble, I think,
In
just.
a tight one.
Yeah, just.
All right, Karri, you give us this one, hey? Ladies League tag.
Ballina versus Tweed Coast. That's going to be a tough game. They are both, fit and fast teams, so and they're pretty similar. Like to spread the ball, so I'm not going to predict two wins. Yeah, I'm just going to say it's going to be a tough game, and the better team's just going to come out on top.
Yeah,
I'm going to go and say Tweed Coast are going to get the bickies there.
Yeah,
Hang on. Did you just hear what I just did?
Yeah, I did.
Les the Fox Roberts has just tipped against Ballina.
Against Ballina.
There you go.
I have.
Yep. There you go, Ballina. If you want some motivation, like some other people in this competition, Ballina, listen to the Fox what he just said because he gives a lot of other teams motivations. Apparently.
Like on the weekend with
Evans. We'll talk. Save that for the Goffy's Goss, brother.
So that's it. That's our finals wrap up for this weekend.
That's our final Saturday, Sunday. So Sunday up at Oaks Oval and Saturday down at Standpone Oval in Evans Head.
Yep. Get out there and watch some footy.
This is the Rugby League frenzy weekend. Finals is on.
Whoever loses is no longer in the competition.
Both elimination finals, first time in the history of the NRRRL competition. With an elimination series like that. So, here we go. There you go. It's all laid out. So who's got the weekend off, mate?
So, the weekend off, in first and second place, we got in first grade, Ballina finishing on top, and they'll take on Bilamble next week. Reserve grade, Bilamble will take on Ballina.
Yeah, I'm saying Bilamble next week by 1 trillion.
In reserve grade?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Under 18s, Tweed Seagulls versus Murwillumbah.
Yeah, I'm saying Tweed Seagulls.
And Ladies League
We'll get
tag.
to your tips next week, okay?
I'm giving you my tips now, well in advance.
Ladies League tag, who we got? Karri?
Coogin versus the Brothers.
Coogin versus Brothers. And upset on the weekend. Kyogle beat Marsh Brothers on the weekend in the Ladies League tag.
I'm actually going to say Brothers is going to come out on top of that. I think they're going to be hungrier and they're just going to work on the errors from the weekend. So I reckon
a couple of players back too.
They're always good at coming back.
I'm going to say Coogin by 16.
Okay.
They're too good.
You reckon?
They are good.
They're too good.
I'm going to do something that I don't like doing, and I'm going to agree with.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, Karri. I'm just going to lay it out on the table and say Coogin by 16 because Brothers on the weekend can't recover from that loss against Kyogle.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm going to agree with Bingy for once, and I'm not going to do it ever again.
I will say, the first grade game I never tipped, and you don't want to tip, but I am going to tip it, and I'm going to say Ballina by 12.
I'm going to tip, and I'll do it next week when we do our next semi-final.
Okay, he knows he's going to tip Ballina. He's the next Ballina player, so there you go. Without saying it, I've just tipped it. But anyway, you know what the Fox is like. Okay, so that's it. That's the teams that have got the weekend off, and that's the teams that are going to play next Sunday.
For a spot to host the grand final.
For a spot to host the GF. All those teams ain't going to host the GF, but the team that wins the first grade game will host the GF.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll be going to Ballina, I would say.
I reckon too.
I hope so.
Goffy, this is a non-comment section for you, mate. Sorry, but thanks for your input. Mate, let's just cruise along to our normal part of what we do. We're going to get right into the Goffy's Goss section. Let's talk about the upsets from last week's round, Les.
Yes.
Evans Head over Northern.
Good win there from the Bombers.
Yeah, good win. I'm going to pay that. They played well. They were more hungry on the day. But I am going to stick to my word, what I said earlier. The game changed with 20 minutes to go when Jamal Roberts got injured.
I agree.
Up until that point, I still believe we could have got the result. But, mate, he was a big loss and we had to readjust and we didn't have a hooker on the bench, so we had to improvise, which impacted on what we needed to do on an execution point of view. So, credit to Evans, mate. You guys won the game.
Good win.
I'm not going to shy away from that.
Credit to Northern too, because they lost Jamal. Jared went to hooker.
Went to 9, yeah, mate. At 13. He hasn't played 9 for
done a pretty good job and was still in the game there with 3 minutes to go.
3 minutes to go,
They tried disallowed.
Yeah.
So, but great effort from Evans. You know, they were hungry.
Win.
They got the win and made the semi-finals, which is good stuff.
Yep. The other upset, mate, and I call this.
No, you didn't.
I actually call this for the last 3 weeks.
Goffy.
So anyway, we're going to disregard Les's, total disrespect for myself. But I did call this game, and I did say Murwillumbah was going to be the team that created the upsets in the back end of the season. and I did call that they would, and I actually stated they would have this one over Blam on the weekend, and they got away with it. 20-8. They didn't just get away with it. They're now enjoying Mad Monday. Well, they did. And there could be some of them still suffering on Tuesday. So,
or they're still enjoying it.
But the reason I like the way they finished, they had a tough. They played a tough game the week before against Tweed Coast. Took them right to the wire. Nearly got away with that upset. Then they backed it up with a performance with Blamble. That's always good finishing your season, even though you have had a tough season with injuries and all ins and outs, because it always sets your front end of your season up next year better because you've finished off positive. So there you go, Wollongong boys. Keep whatever you do, keep Simply Red.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good.
He's really good.
What was his name again?
I don't
Simply
know.
Red. There you go. He knows who he is. Okay, Les, let's jump into the other upset, which you don't believe was ever an upset. You don't even know why I put it there, eh?
No. What was it?
Coogin versus Tweed Coast.
Oh, Coogin
And
versus
the reason
Tweed
I call it
Coast.
an upset, Tweed Coast knew that everything was on the line. If they lost, they were gone, particularly if Evans won, and Evans got up. So, mate, up until this game, the reason I call it also an upset is up until this game, Tweed Coast was sitting in fourth spot. So
They went from fourth to missing the semis.
to missing the semis, which is, and guess what? On for and against. So just goes to show sometimes the for and against comes into play, and this year it did. So, they miss out on the final series. Robbo, mate, I know you'd be very disappointed. But, mate, you had a good season this season. I know you'd build on that. And if you're back there next year, mate, no doubt you're going to be bigger and better. But, yeah, no, mate, tough way to bow out of a final season this year. I think you're wanting to play finals, mate. I knew you were hungry. So, yeah, so there it is. There's the upsets of the round in the Gossies golf section.
Gossie's Goss.
Get it. That'll be it, folks.
Goss section?
So, you got anything else in there, mate?
Nah, that's it, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, Goffy's got
Goffy's actually got some goss.
Canteen winner, Yorba United.
something. Oh, we've got the winner.
This is 2 weeks in a row. He's calling it out. The canteen winner for the season 2023 is Northern United. There you go. That never came from me or Les. That came from the Golfmeister. And I'll tell you what, if anyone knows canteens across the NRRRL, Goffy knows canteens because he eats at minimum $40 worth of food at every game he attends.
Oh, I think Northern made a ton of money on the big Foxy salad rolls too.
Yeah, the healthy choice, healthy options. So I've only got...
We'll get the trophy out to you.
Yeah, we will.
Goffy's working on the Canteen of the Year trophy.
I know, and look, this isn't a bit of a... I'm not having a punt here or anything, and I just want to be really clear. The only other section I've got for the Goffy's Goss section is no more pencils, and I'm just going to leave it at that. The whatever section, let's get into it.
Okay, what do we got?
Did I just throw you, Les, or did you just went to a silent moment?
I don't remember what we have
you
in,
drop
the,
your
in the
pencils?
whatever section.
I didn't drop mine, but anyway, someone's dropped their pencils. But anyway, we'll
I
pick
can't
them
read
up
your
later.
writing there.
Let's get into it, mate. The whatevs.
Oh, yes. We copped a bit of a spray on the weekend, didn't we?
Well, I wanted to save this because it's going to go back to what we talked about in the
I didn't
other
even
section.
realise till the other night.
So there's a bit of I'm having a laugh about it, but I won't. Well, it's not. Well, it is. It's a bit of look. It's rugby league.
Yeah, good on you.
So the Ginge and the Foxy got sprayed. We got sprayed on Sunday down at Evans. I got sprayed by the stand-in coach for the Evans Head Bombers, who walked up and got in my grill and basically said, "What are you saying now, Benji?" And I went, I actually had no idea what he was talking about. I was like, "Okay, you won the game. Congratulations, mate." I was a bit disappointed, Devoed. But and even more devout because I knew Blamble lost and I thought we had a chance of going up the ladder, maybe having a weekend off. But anyway, he told me, literally, I'm just going to say it, spitting distance, that I inspired his motivation and Evan's motivation to beat Northern on the weekend by a comment that I made about Evans being a 60-minute team. I just want to go back to the coach. I don't even know your name. And after the spray you gave me, I actually don't want to know your name. But when you go back and look at the footage, the next time you come to me and get in the grill and have your say, look, it's okay. It's all fun and games till someone gets hurt. But It was actually the big Foxy that made the comment. Wasn't
I didn't even realise because young Tooley was giving it to me all game, and I was thinking, why does he keep saying 60 minutes to me? I had no clue whatsoever.
I'm just going to call you Skippy after this, but anyway, keep going.
And then I got home into the other night, and I actually just remembered because I had to give Roy Bell a ring, and I just remembered, I think I said on the podcast that they were gone after 60 minutes. Northern were going to run away with it, and that's probably why he was giving me the old 60-minute call. Good on
So
you,
you
Tooley.
copped it from Tooley?
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, they always say the little ones are the feisty ones, so he took on the giant. It would have been like David and Goliath if it did get out of hand. But anyway, as I said, you copped it from Tooley, and well done, Tooley. Great
I'm glad
giving.
you all watched the
It's good
podcast,
motivation.
eh?
Glad you, for me, the most positive thing to come out of this whole scenario that played out down at Evans on the weekend was that everyone from Evans watches our podcast. Thumbs up. Keep doing it. Keep watching. We love you. Clocking on, because when you do it, it just throws the numbers up. So keep throwing the numbers up. We love you all down at the Bombers, I'll tell you that. Keep watching our podcast. I know Goffy definitely would be getting a number of hits from down to the Evans area. So
Good stuff, the Bombers. And
good stuff,
luck,
mate. You've
good
done,
luck
mate.
this
On a
weekend.
serious note, you deserve the win. You wanted it more in the day, and you showed it on the weekend. Now you've just got to back it up this weekend, which I think, as I said, I'm not going to call the game other than to say that it's going to be tough. And congratulations on getting through.
I'm not going to mention anything about 60 minutes for this game.
Well, I will say this, Tooley. The next time you see the Big Fox, I don't want you to call him Big Fox, and I don't want you to call him Les. I want you to call him Skippy. Because from now on, he'll be known as...
60 minutes.
But anyway, thanks a lot, guys. And again, as I said, to the unnamed and unknown stand-in coach for Evans Head, thank you very much. And if I don't ever get to know your name, it's probably a good thing. Let's get on to the next thing. So this is just probably a thing, just a bit of an update in the whatevs. So the Northern United Rugby League knockout, which is on the 15th, 16th and 17th of September, we're pretty much near confirm that it's...
Is it done?
Yeah, it's
I
done.
thought Tuesday was the cut-off.
Yeah,
Done.
So the Northern United nominations...
How many teams?
For this year's knockout is done. Well, I don't know until... Actually, the cut-off was today. It's at 5 o'clock.
Oh, I thought you told me Tuesday.
Yeah, I think I've made that mistake. You know, I make a lot of mistakes. So it was the 16th, and then it's at 5 o'clock. So the 5 o'clock is now past. So we will go and do the tally up of teams, but I can pretty much assure you that the men's part of the draw or nominations is done, mate. I think we're at the top.
Beautiful.
We've reached the limit, which is the first time in 3 years that it's done that since COVID. And then the last thing is the women. I think we've got definitely 6, but I think we've got 8 teams, Karri, playing in that. I know you're definitely participating in that, so we can't wait to see you run around out there and try and win another knockout.
Yep.
You did it last year.
Oh, well, you'll see at the knockout.
I can tell you. Nullingar Dubs. There you go.
Leaked.
It's all out.
Yeah.
WikiLeaks. It's done. That's who Karri's, and she's the captain.
No.
There
And
you
the
go.
coach.
No.
Extraordinary. No, she's not coaching,
No.
actually. They've got a coach. Alwyn Roberts, I think, is the coach.
Yeah, Uncle Albert.
Sorry?
Uncle Alwyn.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Goffy's going to
Goffy
beat,
is-
for everyone, what we want to do at the 2023 knockout is, if you don't know Goffy or Moonhead, just come down to the audio and commentary section. We'll introduce you to the Goffmeister.
Yeah, he's a good bloke.
Some of us think that. I'll just leave it at that.
And if you've got any complaints, make sure you see the knockout coordinator.
Yeah, the knockout coordinator for 2023 is no other than the Ginge. Anything you want to know, ring me.
That's it.
I'm not going to give my number out tonight, but Goffy will.
Is that us? Is that all right?
Mate, no, you've got it. Shout outs. Let's have a quick look.
I've got none.
Go to it.
I'll shout out to my
Oh, hang
partner
on.
Maddie and my kids at home.
Yeah.
You better do your shout
Yeah,
out.
I
or
better
you're gonna
shout
be in
out to
trouble.
Kylie and my kids at home, which is Kyle. 23, by the way.
Your turn, Karri. Who you
Oh.
got shout outs for?
Shout out to my fam at home in Korakai. My nephew, Kyden, he always watches your podcast.
Oh, he does, eh?
Oh,
Kyden.
too
Oh,
dirty,
hang on, I'm
Kyden.
glad you said that, because you know what? Kyden, he actually hits us up on shout outs. And every time we finish the podcast, guess what Les says to me? Oh,
We forgot to
We
shout
missed
it.
him on,
Kyden,
we missed him
we
on
missed
his
him again.
birthday.
So, Kyden, a big shout out from the Ginge and the Fox on the NRRRL Rap podcast. Go out there this weekend. We want to see you on the weekend at Northern. You're always at our game, so we'll see you there, mate. You'll be down, no doubt, watching the Evans Bombers as well on the weekend because you love your footy. But a big shout out from all the podcasters, mate. We'll see you over the weekend. And if you don't like the shout out, make sure you come and see the big Fox, not me. He's always up for a blast, and obviously do what Tooley did and just pay him, just give it to him, just absolutely drill him.
Just bring it.
Just tackle
Bring
him.
it. So mate, outside of that, is there anything else we have missed tonight, Mr. Goffmeister?
Nah, I think that's a wrap. That was a good wrap.
I'd like to thank Karri for coming on.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, there you go. So, well, I did welcome her on at the start.
Yep.
It's like a bit of a, welcome to country sort of thing, but I'm not that old yet. But, Karri, mate, as I said, congratulations on your grand final win, mate, as a coach and a player, captain. But also, thanks for coming on tonight. Your first time on the podcast. We might get you back.
How'd it go?
Actually, you know what? We will get you back.
Yeah.
We'll get you back after the between now and the end of the grand final, the week before the podcast, because we want you to come and talk about the knockout.
Yeah.
And the women's women's section of the knockout this year down here at Oaks Oval. So, but outside of that, mate, thank you, and the big Foxy once again.
You're now worldwide, Karri. This guy's
Because this is worldwide, mate. People are watching this in America and England.
Really?
Yeah, they are. Would you not believe me?
No, I believe
No, we
you.
can
I
actually
believe you.
verify it.
Even
And for
India?
those viewers that actually don't believe, you think me and Leslie are just talking ourselves up. This is fact. We know that now that it actually has people are watching us in England, 100%. I know there are people in America that are watching us as well now. Fox Sport, please watch us. Get out there, like we're up for a gig. One more announcement. Hopefully in the coming weeks, and I did mention it last week.
We're getting our shirts.
I'm supporting the Beagles tonight. That's I'm just going for them tonight. I'm going to rep every knockout team between now and the big knockout.
So if you want your knockout shirts repped, send them in. We'll wear them.
Bunjalung Beagles, there you go.
Okay, that's it.
That's
that
it.
all right?
And that, my friends, thank you to our viewers. Thank you to all the rugby league mad, crazy fans out there. And thank you to the podcast fans. That, my friends, is a NRRRL Ginge and Foxy